Wow. When is the unpredictable predictable? I ask you that because that is kind of the theme on today's safety tip of the day. So stay tuned for that. I am Todd, your personal workplace safety specialist and part-time hobbyist with Lego. And today we're going to continue our build of the Sears Tower in Chicago, a mock that I created and have been working on for quite some time. We have quite a few steps to get through today. We're going to finish up this with, let's see, is this step 18? Of course, there we go. And then we're going to get into 19. So, without further ado, this episode is going vertical. Oh, that is a representation of when I worked in the meat department. We used to have a saying, never trust a nine-fingered butcher. As a meat person, as the professor of protein, I always had a laugh out of that. Would give customers a chuckle or two. As a safety person, though, I have to wonder, never trust a nine-fingered butcher. Well, that means that somebody, somewhere along the way, lost some digits in their work. And, of course, OSHA tends to frown on people getting hurt on the job. So our agenda today, we are going to build something. We are going to learn something. We're going to compliment someone. And, of course, our safety tip of the day. So steps 1 through 18. 18's done. We have, of course, the foundation. We have our plaza level. And now we're going to go vertical. So I'm going to take the tower crane off of the build. And sorry, Jumpman, minifigure Jumpman, we're going to set you over to the side here. Make ourselves some extra room, move our squeeze stress safety rocks out of the way, suitable for if you see somebody who's not doing what they should be doing, you can also throw this in them. It's not going to hurt them because, it's like a stress rock. And then we will begin. So let's see. Step 19 is approximately 640 pieces. However, due to some amazingly creative editing that I have done, we're going to speed this along quite nicely. So if I was looking at my instructions, we have, I guess you'd say, up to 4 levels, not including in the real Sears Tower, the lobby, the underbelly of the building, some of the spaces below street level. We've got 4 levels built. So now we're going to work on 5 through 10. And let's make sure we have all our pieces. So here we go. Watch this. Ooh, he's so fast. Yes. Building that makes it a little taller. Now, how about levels 11 through 14? Yes? Yes. Ooh, look at that. It's like fast motion, all in one build. Now, I did take the 13th level and I darkened out using all translucent brown tiles. So when it's lit up from the inside, that level won't show with any clear bricks. Not that I'm superstitious, but you never know. All right, so that gets us to levels 18 here. Awesome. Now, if you can see how long that would take to do all of those individual bricks, You can thank me later. And let's move the rest of the tower crane. How are we doing on our foundation? Because we're going to take that tower crane and put it, let's see. Yes, we're going to move it up. All right. So here we are on the 22nd level. Now, this is not actually the 22nd floor of the real building. It is just a figure of representation. I should make sure this is captured in camera. So where is that? Okay. There. And there. There. And like so. And like so. Do we have this in camera? Because it would really... Oh, no, of course not. Oh, my gosh. Let's go ahead and raise this up a little bit. Ah! Yes. Now you can see a little bit better about how this tower is rising. All right. So all of this here was step 19. 640 pieces. Have I been keeping track and count? Yes. I will post that in the description below, along with details on the safety tip of the day. But first, let's compliment somebody. This is a YouTube content creator that has an appreciation for Lego, and it's Brickster. I recently enjoyed listening to the review of Classic Space, and it took me back to 1978. I was already a fan of Lego, having been gifted a couple of sets in my youth. And then Space came out, and I was receiving a set as a gift of a moon base, and holy cow, was I absolutely amazed. The level of detail, the quality of minifigures, just the look of Classic Space was just incredible. I wish I had saved those sets. But over the years, as people change and get older, life happens. And some sets are traded, some are lost, pieces might be used for something else, and they are now quite collectible. I suppose I could go to Bricklink and source parts and pieces. Instructions are easily found on digital downloads. Oh, speaking of Bricklink, I do want to thank all of these supporters around the base. These microfigs are folks who have either inspired me or helped me source the bricks that I need to make this mock my own creation. If you are not familiar with the Lego terminology. And thank you. So Brickster, I will encourage you to check out that channel on YouTube and see for yourself the creative content that is provided there, as well as a very fun episodes to watch. All right, so step 20 is going to start one of our first middle layers. And in the real Sears Tower, you'll notice a wide band that not only allows for HVAC and ventilation, but it does allow the physical structure of the building not to tip over. Now, we could go into physics and engineering. However, I'm a safety guy, and frankly, I don't want to bore you with that right now. So what I've done is I've taken these 2x2 corner pieces, and I'm going to clip 2 of those in opposite corners. Then I'm going to use a series of 1x1 bricks and surround the tower on the other 4 sides, while also leaving a space in the middle. Let's see, we're going to turn it like this because I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's what I want to do. Yep. Like that. And then we'll line this whole back side of the tower. How's your day going? You having a good day? You enjoying a casual morning? Or are you on your way to a busy day in the office? That 1 and 2. Great. Then we got 1x12s, which will support across the width of the building. We'll do the same thing on this side. 1, 2, 3. And so on through that. You're thanking me now that I did step 19 of 640 bricks with a little bit of pre-assembly, aren't you? Okay. Uh-oh. There's 1 and 2. And then 2 more. And then we have another 1 by 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Why is there stairs? Oh, it's because there we go. Then we're going to fill in the gaps like so. And there we go. Safety tip of the day. So let's see, we're building something, we're learning something, we're complementing something, and our safety tip of the day is regarding storms and emergency evacuation. One of the areas that I have learned companies sometimes miss is planning and preparing for emergencies. Why is that important, Todd? Well, when the unexpected happens, sometimes people panic. And in a tornado where you need to shelter in place, or a flood which could come up instantaneously, or in many parts of the U.S. we have hurricanes, you want to be prepared. Now, OSHA doesn't technically, specifically have rules and laws for emergency evacuation. However, what they do have is an emergency action plan where companies will have a guideline for what to do in case of an emergency. Does your company have one? Yes? Fantastic. How often have you done a fire drill at your place of work? And 1, 2, 3. How did everybody do that first time? The company I worked with, we would have 2 a year, or about every 6 months, sometimes 5 months, depending on how we felt our new hires could use a reminder of our safety program. And one was announced, one was planned, letting people know, say on Friday at 1:30, we are going to have a fire drill. Please be familiar with the exit. And in a calm and orderly fashion, follow the route that is nearest to your workplace, workstation. And I tell you, didn't always go smoothly. Some people were dilly-dallying. Some people were like, oh, don't forget my suitcase or briefcase or personal items. Fires don't care about that stuff. They just, like accidents, want to inflict as much pain and damage as possible. So get out. Don't waste time. And it's a drill. All right? The whole idea is to make sure employees are familiar with the evacuation program. Now, if it's a tornado or a shelter in place, do you have adequate shelter for the employees? How did I miss one freaking brick? You've got to be kidding me. I did. I'm missing one right there. I had all these counted. Apparently, I did not. Picked the wrong day to quit drinking. Well, that takes us to step 21. All right, we have this wide band in the middle of this particular section. Now, 22 and moving on is going to involve this funky dude, which I created, that will sit in the center and then allow for a further uprising. And then, of course, the building will continue on that. But that's next time. We're going to save that for another time. So I'm going to spin this around while I share a little bit of my ideas that have worked in the past when it comes to practicing storm evacuation or drills. So you want to have a plan. All right, drills, they keep employees familiar without forgetting or it becoming, what do you say, camouflaged? Remember, like when you put that new fire extinguisher in and put that fancy sign on the wall and everybody looked by, oh, we got a new fire extinguisher. And then 90 days later, you ask somebody, hey, if there was a fire, where's the fire extinguisher? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Well, it's right there. We just put it up 3 months ago. Oh, okay. So drills help familiarize employees with the proper path. Now, let's say you stage a drill that's unannounced. What? You can't surprise employees like that. Well, actually, if you let the proper people know, like you want to let your HR manager know, you want to let the leadership team know, and you certainly want to give the shift managers or in your own company, let folks know we're going to do one that's a surprise. And in those surprise drills, simulate what would happen if maybe one of the entrances was blocked. Ooh, now there's a twist. And it is very interesting to see people's reactions when they're not able to exit the door that they're familiar to and have to take a secondary route. And again, this is why we drill, to keep employees familiar. Drills and practice also ensures that employees engage in swift and orderly, two words there, swift and orderly responses. You don't want people to panic in an emergency. Panic is bad. Don't panic. Yes, there was a very famous book and movie that had that in their theme. If you do know, leave that in the comments below. We'll see how many people pick up on the don't panic Easter egg in there. So when do you want to do this? Every 3 to 6 months. You don't want to drill every day, then that gets routine. You don't want to do it once a year because that people may forget. And you want to have it infrequently and frequently as possible, given your workplace's parameters. You want to vary the themes, vary the times. If you always have it the second Tuesday of August every year or every 6 months or whatever, then people, again, become complacent. And complacence versus compliance are two polar opposites. What about accounting for people with disabilities? If you have employees, and many workplaces do, where employees may be disabled, you want to make sure you're accounting for their safety, their evacuation proper, or again, in shelter in place. In a fire, elevators do not operate. Imagine that, and take that into account if you work in a multi-story building, and account for that. So, inclement weather, including all your personnel. Don't leave anybody out. Don't say, oh, well, they're just so-and-so. No, everybody has the right to go home at the end of the day with all their parts and pieces intact to what they like to do most. Yes? Agree? Disagree? If you disagree, call me out on it. Why do you disagree? And if you agree, but then think my company doesn't do that, well, say something. Bring it up. Let folks know, hey, I'm interested to learn more about our company's emergency shelter in place or evacuation or programs. And maybe be part of that conversation. Very interesting to learn. I'm going to spread out some of these hedges. I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to put this one back over here at this corner. There we go. All right, last but not least, if you have an evacuation plan, then your facility should have the proper visibility and signage to ensure that people are getting from point A to point B. What was our word? Swiftly and orderly. So it may be a good time to review your facility's emergency evacuation procedure, maps, and update any AEDs or fire extinguishers that need to be on there, as well as in a smoke-filled room, people want to crawl on the floor. So here's an idea. Why not have exit signs strategically placed at floor level that have the luminescent quality or reflective quality? Do you have flashlights stationed in strategic places? And are those batteries charged? You know what? That's our safety tip of the day. I appreciate you taking time to watch and learn and listen. As we built something, we learned something, we complimented Brickster today, and if you did get something out of this, please click like and subscribe, because that's going to help me see more. If you have a comment or a question or an idea for the channel, whether it's Lego or safety or workplace compliance, write it down. I'd be happy to take a look. And I want to leave you with the idea that we're all in this together. We use our training, we watch out for each other, and we build a stronger safety program. I'm not saying trash what you have. No. If you have 50, 75, 100 employees, it would be very easy for you to review your safety programs and policies and rules and regulations and change a lot quicker than a company that has 1,000 or 10,000 or 45,000 employees. But if you look at that mountain one step at a time, or if you're going to eat the elephant one bite at a time, it's worth doing. Use our training, watch out for each other, remember our commitment to keep safe, because you don't want to end up like Toby here. Where's my worst safety manager in the world? You have Toby, who's not happy because the last time he did an evacuation drill, nobody listened to him. And it ended bad. But again, it was just a simulation. So that's nice. I'm Todd, your personal workplace safety specialist. I'm really glad you joined us today. Until we meet again, folks, happy building, and we'll see you next time.